Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The first sound I heard was the creak of the door. Slow, deliberate, heavy. Then the unmistakable knock. 3 times. Measured. Controlled. My heart stuttered as the wrench slipped from my hand, clattering against the concrete floor of the garage. Laura. His voice came through the door, low and steady like thunder right before it breaks. Who's in there with you? For a moment everything froze. The smell of motor oil, the faint hum of the old radio, even the warmth of the breath against my ear that didn't belong to my husband. I turned slowly, my pulse thrumming so loud I could hear it in my skull. Don't say anything, I whispered to Ethan. His eyes were wide, guilty and panicked. The worst part? I didn't even know what I wanted him to do. Hide? Confess? Disappear? The knock came again, sharper this time. Laura. Open the door. I could picture Michael on the other side. Still in his work clothes, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. The way he always looked when he came home early to surprise me. Except this time I was the surprise. I forced a laugh, shaky and hollow. 1 second. I'm just fixing something. Ethan's hand brushed my arm, a silent plea to keep calm. I stepped toward the door, praying that my voice wouldn't betray me like my heart already had. When I opened it, Michael's expression was unreadable. Calm but too calm. His eyes flicked past me into the dim garage. Did I hear someone talking? No, I said too quickly. Just me. The radio. His gaze lingered. The radio was off. My stomach twisted. He knew. He stepped closer, the faint scent of rain still clinging to his jacket. Strange. I thought I heard a man's voice. My throat dried. You must have imagined it. Michael smiled, small, deliberate. Maybe I did. He leaned down, picked up the wrench I dropped, turned it in his hand like he was testing its weight. You should be careful, Laura. These can cause serious damage. Something in his tone made my skin prickle. He wasn't yelling, wasn't accusing. He was studying me, observing the way my breath stuttered, the way my hand shook. I forced a smile. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. He nodded slowly, then turned to leave. Just as I exhaled, he stopped at the door and said without looking back, Lock up when you're done. I'll be in the kitchen. When the door shut, Ethan exhaled sharply. That was close. Close. The word echoed in my head like a curse. I stared at him, the man who wasn't my husband, who smelled like aftershave and danger, who had somehow filled the spaces Michael used to occupy. I told myself it was harmless. A distraction. A friend. But now, standing in the dark garage, my wedding ring heavy on my finger, I felt something colder than guilt. Fear. Dinner was silent. Michael's fork scraped against his plate, each sound slicing into the quiet like a blade. I couldn't eat. My hands trembled when I reached for the glass of water. Long day? He asked finally. Yes, I managed. Just tired. He nodded. You've been spending a lot of time in the garage lately. I told you, I said, trying to steady my voice. I'm fixing the old bike. He smiled faintly. You've never cared about that bike before. It's a new hobby. He leaned back in his chair, watching me. Right. New hobbies. Every word felt like an accusation wrapped in politeness. Michael wasn't stupid. He never had been. That's what scared me most. He was calm, methodical, the kind of man who let you hang yourself with your own rope. Finally, he said, You should have just told me. My heart jumped. Told you what? That something's wrong, he said softly. That you're unhappy. I looked at him then, really looked. There was no anger in his eyes, only exhaustion. Quiet kind of heartbreak. He sighed. I heard you laughing earlier. It's been a while since I heard that. I just wish it had been with me. My throat tightened. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I blinked them back. He didn't deserve tears. Not after what I'd done. I'm sorry, I whispered. He nodded, standing up. You should be. Then he left the table. That night I couldn't sleep. The air in our bedroom felt too heavy, the silence too loud. I kept hearing that knock again and again like it was still echoing through my bones. I got up and went to the window. The garage light was still on. I must have forgotten to turn it off. Or maybe Ethan had. I slipped on my robe and went outside. The air was cold enough to bite. When I reached the garage door, it creaked open slightly, just enough to show that someone had already been there. Inside, the light flickered weakly. Something gleamed on the workbench. Michael's wedding ring. My chest tightened. "Michael!" called softly. No answer. Then I saw it. A folded piece of paper placed neatly beside the ring. My hand shook as I opened it. The handwriting was his. "I fixed the bike for you. You were right, it just needed attention. Maybe that's all we ever needed too. Don't bother looking for me tonight. I need to think." The note slipped from my hands. My knees nearly gave out. He knew. He'd known all along. The next morning the house was silent. His car was gone. His closet half empty. I tried calling him but he didn't answer. Not that day. Not the next. Ethan came over once trying to console me. "He'll calm down," he said. "You didn't mean for this to happen." But I couldn't even look at him. Every time I did, I saw what I destroyed reflected in his face. Days turned to weeks. Still no word. Then one morning a letter arrived, no return address. I recognized the handwriting instantly. "Laura, you once told me that love is about forgiveness. I've been thinking about that. About how we forget the small things that made us fall in love in the first place. I want to remember them again, without the noise, without the lies. I'm not sure if I'll come back. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But if I do, I need to know that the person I'm returning to isn't the same one I left in that garage. Until then, take care of yourself. Michael." I pressed the paper to my chest, tears falling freely now. The garage door was still slightly ajar, swaying in the wind. Every time it creaked, it sounded like that knock again. A ghostly reminder of the moment everything changed. And deep down I knew one thing. I'd never stop hearing it.